So, hello again, and today we're handling the Hangman. And in the Hangman, let's talk about the concept of the Hangman and separation. Let's look at the card first before I start talking about it. See this card? See this card? Here we go. It's different, but it's kind of similar, but different than the Rider-Waite, of course, and a bit darker, of course. Once again, I want you to write down in the comment section what you think of this card and how it looks like and all that stuff. In accordance with your deck, of course, and if you feel that you want to talk about this deck as well, feel free. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about the Hangman and separation. The Hangman and separation. You've got many aspects of separation. As I said before, we have in degrees the desire for separation and the desire for unity. Here you experience the desire for separation excessively. Like in Justice card, you're kind of like experiencing the desire for unity for a certain reason, and you kind of separate yourself to know why you're doing the opposite of what the card wants you to do, or you do what it wants you to do, whatever. At the end of the day, when you're done with the card, you're going to learn that your desire to unite with someone, your current desire to unite with someone, and what is it motivated by. Now we're handling the concept of separation and what it's motivated by. There are two types of separation that I currently know of. Separation from the other and separation from the world. And this might be an exteriorization of a desire to let go of past methods, of past tools. Because people to the unconscious might seem as well as symbols. Like it's a good way of dealing with people when you're like in your ritual, and I'm talking about magical rituals that you do intentionally, is to deal with them as symbols. So you're not attached to them. And to create some sort of diagram. Like I talked about in the Hierophant, I told you to make diagrams and whatnot, and to show me those diagrams. Here I want you, and I understand the time and whatnot and all that stuff, but make sure to do those diagrams as soon as possible, because they're going to make your life a shitload easier. Now, when it comes to the Hangman, we have metaphors. Life works with metaphors. Like your mind works in metaphors. That's why there's a lot of fallacies in perceiving things, because you perceive things as metaphors, but not everything works as a metaphor. Which leads me onto this. There is a scientific aspect to the Hangman, which is trying to prove things. The desire to prove things, if they exist or not, and it's kind of like the philosopher's card, you're always trying to philosophize shit and trying to find the reason behind things and all that. You're playing the detective, so as to separate yourself from the world and from the other. And the actual thing that you're doing here is not changing the world and not changing the other. You're actually working on yourself to let go of tools that no longer serve you. Now, you do that unconsciously, and sometimes you drop stuff that you actually are using that are very useful to you, but you don't know how to use them, so you drop them away and you leave them behind. And you attach yourself to things that are not really useful because they're the ones that are easier to use, or they are more that's more comfortable to work with them. And in this case, when we reach the Hangman, you know that you've reached a place in your social circumstances where you need to drop people off that you should have dropped them since the Emperor, but you decided to be what's it called? Falsely compassionate. So you kept them around. More on this later in the next video.